This is a gun. It's got a range of nine and a half miles maximum.
Wow.
And which is quite a range.
Quite a distance, yeah.
Yeah. And when the gun's in action, we folded the guardrails halfway down, so that when the ship rolled, the barrel never hit the guardrails. So it's, quite a. And then the shells came out of that door there from the hoist. They passed through a hole in that door.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
Yeah. And the guys would bring them round here. That door there, they had ready use ammunition there, so that if you were into action before they were able to bring some more ammunition up, it was already on the gun.
Something ready to go immediately.
Yeah. And then in here, the shells were brought in here. The loader stood here, and the guys bringing these over, which were quite heavy. They're full of cordite. He threw them on there. The shell was thrown on here and timed. That was brought up and thrown on there ahead in front of there. Hit the lever, the tray would go over, and this ram would automatically push the shell in there. The tray would come back, the gun fired, and all this bit here, which weighs about 800 weight, recoiled back to about here. The empty cordite case was ejected, hit the net, and fell to the ground. Now these guys are running around with these very heavy shells in their hands, and they've got a dozen of these rolling around on the deck, which could be quite dangerous.
Now, so I thought there'd been some sort of, I don't know, catcher or something there, or
no, just
straight onto the deck. It's quite odd for me.
And then the ones that didn't go over the side, accidentally, they had to be struck down another 4 decks down into the magazine.
Crikey.
Because they were quite valuable, very heavy but good quality brass.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then this is the net for catching the empty cases to stop them going back here. The captain of the Mountain was on that seat there. He could operate this gun from there by the joystick, and he could fire the gun from there if it wasn't being fired by the operations,
which we were
the gun control room down below. So this switch here, you can put it in local or in remote.
Yeah.
If it's in remote, then it's being controlled by the men down in the TS, and the men here are just following the gun. If the power was cut off by action or whatever, it was possible at one time for the aimer and the other guy, the other side, to operate the gun from there. The breech worker here, he could operate this breech. I won't open it right up because there's 2 release catches there, which it'll jam it open. But he could actually fire the gun from here as well. So there was various ways. On here is a rev counter, or rounds fired counter. So when you took all the things into consideration, like the weather, the temperature, the barometric pressure and so on, in the calculations, you could actually put the rounds fired into the calculations because the barrel wore over a matter of time. Yeah,
I was going to say, because on tanks we get barrel wear, and eventually you have to change the barrel. I assume it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah. But we used to fire anything up to 90 rounds in a practice session. I think they do it by computer now because they're so expensive, those shells.
Yeah, sure.
You're looking at, I think, about £600 each.
Good Lord.
Going back 30 years ago.
So the amount of the crew there, so you got the loader on that side.
Yep.
You had the gunner.
Yeah, you got the captain of the Mountain on here. You got the breech worker, that's 2. You got 2 men there. You got the loader. So you got, and then you got 6 guys there.
Good Lord, so it's a lot of people involved.
Manpower intensive. But the noise when this was going, and we could fire a shell about in surface, you could fire a shell about every just over 3 seconds. In AA, it's slightly slower because you're timing the round.
Okay,
you put a time on it before it's fired.
And talking about the rounds, different types of rounds. I mean, obviously you had high explosives.
Yep.
Armoured piercing. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Direct action with the old. As soon as it hit the target, on surface target.
Yeah.
You got a radar nose fuse, which was for aircraft.
Yeah.
The shell would go off when it got within so many yards of the target, and you also had a radar target. It was a shell full of iron filings, and you could fire that up, and when it burst, it created a metal ball, so we could actually use it as a target. The radar could range on it, and we could fire shells at it as though it was a target.
Wow, fantastic.
And then on top of that was B gun, was normally the star shell gun, so we could illuminate an enemy ship. We had a shell that was full of phosphorus on a parachute. So you would fire one of these over the enemy target, and it would come down on a parachute slowly, and you could actually see the outline of the foreign ship. You could range on it. Yeah.
Wow, brilliant. And your actual job was actually up here on this gun?
On here, yeah.
On this particular gun, you were the loader?
I was on that side.
On that side?
Yeah.